Hello, this is Dr. Chantel Thomas coming to you today with your mental health moment. And today I want to talk to you about depression. Everybody has experienced depression at some point in their lives, whether it's due to breaking up in a relationship, if it is a loss of a pet, it could be that you lost a loved one, it could be that you had a very bad argument or fight with your children, a friend, a cousin. Anything can cause depression, but there are different types of depression, and those are some of the things I want to talk to you about today. But also I want to talk to you about some of the signs and symptoms, as well as what depression looks like in children and adolescents as opposed to what it looks like in adults. And then finally, I will give you some activities or exercises to help you deal with the depression, especially being that we've been in the house about 6 weeks, and for some of us, we may be in the house another 2 to 4 weeks. So let's get started. The first thing I want to tell you is that depression is just over a period of 2 weeks where you're feeling tired or sad or restless. For some people, they become very angry. Usually a lot of men go more to anger, whereas women go more to sadness. The other thing is there's a loss of appetite for women. Usually they don't eat as much, but for men, they may eat more. Now this is not always the case. For some women, they may gain 5 to 7 pounds, and for some men, they may lose 5 to 7 pounds. But usually there's a change in your weight, as well as people talk about having low energy. I just don't want to get out of the bed. I want to stay under the covers. I want to pull the covers up over my head. I just don't want to start my day. And some people are like, I wish I could just sleep for the rest of my life. So if you're experiencing any of that, those are some signs of depression that a lot of people know about. But let me tell you about some that people don't really know about. The first one is body aches and pains. So a lot of people will say, my head hurts, my back hurts, I have stiffness in my neck, I wake up with a crook in my neck. It could be that you're experiencing migraines. For some people, they also have difficulty with leg stiffness or sharp pains in their legs, sharp pains in their stomach. Irritable bowel syndrome has also been connected to depression. And also some other things are achiness in their fingers, achiness in your feet. So there are a lot of body aches and pains that come along. And that's usually called atypical depression, because a lot of people aren't familiar with the fact that you can have body aches and pains. And so it's not the normal depression that we know of. For the normal depression, people know lasts about 2 weeks, and they know people are tired, they're sad, they're crying, or just tearful. And they usually have suicidal ideation, which is where you think about committing suicide or taking your life. And they have those repetitive thoughts that say, life is horrible, I'm a bad person, I don't deserve to live, I'm not worthy, no one loves me. So we know about those, but then again, remember that the body aches and pains are very common and normal. Also know with adult depression, a lot of times people will start fights. They'll just start a fight with you for no reason. They're irritable, they're angry, they're frustrated. Sometimes with depression, they can be impulsive. 1 minute they're fine and they're hanging out with you and they're happy, and the next minute they're like, I hate life, I hate you, you get on my nerves. And you're like, what the heck just happened? We were just talking, having a great time, and now this person is upset and angry. And then 5 minutes later, they're kind of calm and chill, talking real slow, like, hey, things are cool, I'm well, how are you? And so you're like, okay, now there's another change in this mood. So they can go from being very happy to being very angry to being very chill. So if someone starts to talk really, really slow and seem very, very relaxed, and just 5 or 10 minutes ago, they were very irritated and upset, and a few minutes before that, they were happy, like, hey, let's just do X, Y, and Z. That's also a sign of depression. And it's very common in adults that they can just, in an instant, just like this, change their mood, change their attitude, change their behavior towards you. So let's just recall any type of quick change in the attitude or the mood. Body aches and pains are very common with adult depression. Oversleeping, undersleeping, overeating, undereating. Just remember, those are some of the common signs in adult depression. Okay, so now let's talk about what depression looks like in children and adolescents. A little different than what it looks like in adults. And so with your children and teens, one thing to be familiar with is that sometimes they can go from being very, very energetic and outgoing and have friends and playful and very social, and then all of a sudden it just stops. Right? So if you have a child who has a very quick shift in their behaviors and how they interact with their friends, be concerned, right? Because if your son is hanging out all the time or your daughter's hanging out all the time and they're going to parties or friends' homes and they were very social, but now they're not doing that, well, let's talk about COVID-19. So a lot of teenagers that I have heard from, and I've heard from their parents, they're telling me that, hey, my daughter used to post all the time on Snapchat or TikTok or Twitter or whatever it is, Instagram. And now if you see that they're not doing that, they're sleeping all day, maybe they're staying up till 3, 4 in the morning, then they're sleeping till 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and they don't want to do their homework, they're not posting, they're not talking to their friends, be concerned that maybe they're feeling a little bit depressed right now, or they are in a full-blown depressive episode. If you know your child has depression or your teenager has depression, then it's up to you to make sure that you are getting them active and doing something, because again, their signs and symptoms are very different from us. Sometimes they'll be like, I'm great, I'm good, and they might continue to post and talk to friends, but on the inside, they're feeling like, I'm so lonely, I'm so tired. So they may mask their behaviors and their feelings. Not saying that adults don't do that, because a lot of adults do that, but just knowing that kids are better at it. You may think, oh yeah, they're doing their homework. Yeah, they are posting. Yes, they're engaging with their friends, but on the inside, they're probably screaming like, I just don't want to be here. I want to die. Life is horrible. I need to see my friends. So not being able to connect. I found that, the teenagers are telling me not being able to talk to some of their friends regularly, or their friends being able to come over if they're used to having girlfriends over, or guys hanging out if they're at home, what's the party home, not being able to come over every weekend like they were used to, play basketball, swim, whatever it is, the activity. It could be chess, checkers, whatever it was that they were engaged in. If they're not involved in that piece of them has just in an instant stopped, and they feel like they are dying. So again, there's this grief cycle that they go through. The kids feel sad, they're irritated, but they may mask that grief cycle. So understand that during this time, we are all grieving what we're used to having. And as an adult, some of us are better equipped to cope with it, but your kids may not be. So ask them every day, how are you doing? And how can I help you? So it's very important. They may say, I'm fine. Well, how can I help you anyway? What can I do for you today? Do you want to spend some time with mom? Do you want to spend some time with dad alone? Do you want to spend some time with the siblings? Engage with them just so that you can see, are their moods shifting? Are they, it's like a pendulum. Are they going from very happy and up to very sad and down? Are they very irritated? Sometimes kids who are depressed may look like they have ADD, which is attention deficit disorder. So sometimes people get these confused in children. So they might be running around very hyper, very energetic, laughing, jumping, and you're like, sit down, get off of that, stop that, what are you doing? It could be that they're depressed. So, a lot of times people misdiagnose kids with depression as having attention deficit disorder. So be concerned. They can look very similar. Sometimes kids are very hyper. Sometimes they don't pay attention. They have a loss of focus. Sometimes they're very sad and weepy. Those can be signs of attention deficit as well, but it could be that it's depression. So make sure that the diagnosis is right. If you're doing telehealth with some therapists right now, just make sure it's the right diagnosis, as well as oppositional defiant disorder, which is another childhood adolescent diagnosis. This is where they're defiant. They're like, I don't care, leave me alone. They may slam their door. I'm just going to stay in my room all day. Don't talk to me, stay away from me. And you're like, hey, get up, do the dishes. Hey, do your homework. Hey, clean the floor. And they're like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not getting out of the bed today. And you're like in this struggle with them that you've never had before. And you're like, what the heck is going on? My child doesn't act this way towards me. Well, that again, them being defiant could be a sign that they are experiencing some depression. So again, just know that if your child is being defiant, if your child is being hyper, it may not be anything but a small case of depression right now. It's not true attention deficit disorder. It may not be a positional defiant disorder. It may just be that they're depressed, being that they have to stay in the house right now. They don't have access to friends. Tweeting and Snapchat and TikTok just isn't getting it for them right now. So know that these are signs of depression in children and adolescents. Okay, so the last thing we'll talk about are different activities that you can do when you are feeling depressed, especially right now when you are stuck in your home. because of COVID-19. The first thing I'll say is that this is not normal, of course, and everyone is feeling some depression, some cabin fever, some sadness, some irritation. I am hearing on a daily basis all these different emotions that people are having. So know that if you're feeling some depression, that is to be expected. But if you have depression and your depression is causing you to go down this road of suicidal ideation, feeling like you just can't take it anymore, you want to hurt yourself, you want to hurt your children, then I need you to call a therapist. Look and find someone you can talk to. These techniques that I'm giving you today are just to help you. If you're feeling really, really bad, know that you might need some medicine. And so there's nothing wrong with taking medicine. If you take medicine when you have an upset stomach or the flu, or if you have a headache or a migraine, there's nothing wrong with taking medicine if you have depression. Nobody wants you to die. You have people that love you and care about you. So please call your family doctor or a psychiatrist to get some medicine if you're feeling like you want to hurt or harm yourself right now during this time. So with that being said, let me give you some activities that you can do while you're in the home. The first thing is whenever you are depressed, it's more like anger turn inward or sadness turn inward. So do the opposite of what you feel. So if you feel like staying in the bed and putting the covers over your head, you need to do just the opposite of that. Get up, get out the bed, go get dressed, wipe your face off, brush your teeth, drink some water, and start your day. Get in the shower, get in the tub, whatever helps you to become energized. If you have aromatherapy around, if you have some candles that have eucalyptus, peppermint, anything that is energizing or invigorating. So for some people, they love lavender and chamomile. Those usually calm you down. You need something that will lift you up and pep you. So eucalyptus, patchouli, any type of peppermint. If you even have little peppermints around your house that you can pop in your mouth, those will also help you and increase your energy level as well. That's why when people are driving home and they're tired, they tell you, hey, grab 1 or 2 peppermints. It gives you some energy. It wakes you up. So sniff peppermint if you can put it under your nose or on your post points. You can buy it online, probably on Amazon or something like that right now at a good rate or good price. So use some things to help you. If you can put it throughout your house, that will help. If you can open your windows and get fresh air, that usually helps people. If you can purchase UV light, so lighting will help you. There are lamps and lights out there specifically for depression, and I'm recommending that you look into that. If you are someone who has been diagnosed with depression, you probably have been told that by your therapist. So again, just making sure that you take care of yourself by doing some of these steps. The next thing I will say, there are a lot of apps out there for depression, and so you can download an app or two on your phone. And they will help you. They help you to relax and focus on something different. There are apps that help you to shift your thinking. You have to always focus on positive thoughts. The negative ones will come. I'm not worthy. I'm a horrible person. I want to die. Life is pitiful. Nobody loves me. Those thoughts will come, and we all know those are lies. There are people who do love you. Sit down and write out a list. These are the people in my life who care about me. Co-workers, friends, family members, church members, dance members. Maybe you go to a dance class, or maybe you are a weight lifter. Whatever it is that you do, maybe you play chess. There are people that care about you and that look forward to seeing you, and you'll know those people. They're happy when you come into the room. They're like, hey, where you been? How you been doing? What's going on? So people are interested and care about you, and sometimes your thoughts will tell you something different. The other thing is when you download these apps, make sure that you're doing them for at least 7 minutes or more. You won't get the benefit of the releases that come into the mind and that relax the body if you do not do it for 7 minutes or more. The other thing I will say is start to create a list. List those things like 10 things positive about yourself. Have some affirmations. I'm beautiful. I'm worthy. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be treated with respect. I will not accept anybody's blame, shame, or guilt. Come up with a list. I will just rejoice in this day because it's beautiful. So again, tell yourselves those things and focus on joy coming to you. The last thing that I will say is that you need to have a list of friends. When you're feeling down and sad, have a list of at least 10 people you can call and you can talk to. Have a list of at least 4 or 5 people that are close, that you can be transparent with. And then also you can put fun things to do, laugh, watch funny videos, tell funny jokes. But you have to make sure that you are doing things that cause you to get up and get moving. We all know drink water, get between 6 and 7 hours of sleep. We all know you need to eat right and exercise. Those things definitely help. Again, this is Dr. Chantel Thomas with just a few tips and activities to help you to fight against depression. Do not give up. Dig in and fight. You deserve to live.